Gerhard, hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi. Hello. Thanks for your time. I know that you're always very busy, and it's very difficult to find the Austrian experts from different think tanks who can express their position about current situation in the European Union and war between Russia and Ukraine. But thank you for your time. First question I want to address to my friend Gerhard, because Gerhard several months ago tried to prepare some kind of brief towards Ukrainian and Russian government and the European governments about the current situation. First of all, thanks to your government, to your state, Austrian people for the supporting of Ukraine, because it's very important that Austria also to some extent supported Ukraine. And Gerhard, my first question is very simple. Why Austria support Ukraine? That your country is neutral, and this is a historical background, but the people, the civil society, the ordinary Austrians, they are very quite open to supporting of ordinary Ukrainians. Why it happens?
You know, in Austria we have a very big tradition to help refugees from all of the countries which cannot live in their home because there's war, because there's occupation, and there is other crimes, several crimes. For instance, 1956, a lot of Hungarian people was coming. We helped them. Many of them stay in Austria until now and have a good life. We helped the people from Czechoslovakia as the tanks from Moscow was coming, and we helped the people from Poland as there was the crisis with Jaruzelski. And now we help Ukraine people.
Thank you.
We like Ukraine because it's an independent and democratic country. We need such countries in the international community. Ukraine must stay independent, no questions. And this is a reason why we help. We are a neutral country, but we can send a lot of medicine, we can send food, and we welcome the refugees. For instance, now in Vienna we have 65,000 people from Ukraine. And for me, I met such of these people, understand their position, and I can see how they are suffering, what happens in Ukraine. Friends of me stayed here for some months. Always the only wish of them was to go back, to support the country, to go back and to lead their own life. Because why? Most of the refugees are mothers with children. Men have to stay at home to fight or to look to the infrastructure. And some of these women with children went back now. But what kind of life is this? When all around the time, the alarm, you can hear the alarm voice, and so here also people in Kiev, for instance, feel the danger. Yes, feel the risk, but they like their home country so much that they agree this situation.
Yes, you're right, and we know that some Ukrainians find maybe a new life here, but some Ukrainians come back to Kiev. And thanks for your country, for your people, for civil society of Austrian that you help and keep on helping Ukraine. It's very important for our country.
So Gerald told a lot about supporting by Austrians Ukraine. I think he also supports such kind of idea. However,
of course,
however, my question will be about the next steps. You know that now in Ukraine and in Russia and in many countries, I think the society is not ready for some kind of peace talks, because a lot of Europeans, a lot of foreign experts always say that it should be some kind of peace conference, some kind of compromise, but I think the majority of the people inside Ukraine, they don't want a compromise, they want victory. How to handle such kind of situation?
Of course it's difficult, but a victory only on the battleground is maybe not a permanent peace. So I think it's very important to have an aim. Where do we want to go for? What should come out at the end? It's not in the interest of Ukrainian people and also not for others to have a permanent conflict line. So this is we need a vision, where to go and how to agree on peace, and this makes it necessary to reflect their own opinion, reflect their own positions you had in the past, because you cannot switch in 1 second from one position to another. You must prepare for it mentally, and I think it's not only Ukrainian task, it's also European and Austrian task. What did we do wrong? And we have to reflect our things. We have to reflect our communication. How good, we must say, even in Austria, the public discussion is not very neutral. It could be improved, and even in the European Union, it is still not well enough organized. Different countries maybe reflect their own positions, but
not unanimous decision.
So I think every party in this conflict has to accept and that they have made mistakes on their own, and this leads to a better understanding of the other parties. And I think that's the only solution to have a permanent peace, because we are not interested on a conflict line in the middle of Europe, and welfare for all people means eliminating conflicts, and this is my main position.
What do you think about what the public opinion inside the European Union, inside Austrian society, about the possible end of the war, or what will be the next? I understand, and you told right, that in every country of European Union, including Austria, there is different position about what to do with economical things, with social things, what to do with the relations with Russia. But Gerhard, before the interview, told one thing, that Andrei, look, the prices, they are higher, benzene and gasoline, and we have direct cause, direct influence of the war on the economical situation in the European Union, in every country. So how Europe will perceive some kind of crisis, I don't know what can be the next in the European Union if the war will continue.
I mean, it must be a double strategy. On the one hand, we have to support Ukraine to defend themselves. It's a natural right of every country and of every person to defend my own life. So this is clear. But it should be combined with other ideas, what I just said before, to find a way out and to find what could be a solution. And I think even in Austria or Europe, I think we have to accept that we lived a long time on raw materials from other countries. So we had a quite high standard of living and was based on others. So simply we have to accept also that we have to cut back a little bit. This is a bitter idea, but it is due to history, and
It's a quite logical thing.
Gerhard, Gerald told one very important thing for me as an international observer about the possible compromise. We are currently in Vienna, in one of the cities who traditionally were one of the centers of diplomacy, of international conference, of different conventions which were signed here. for international law, for example. How you see the possible using of such kind of tradition for the resolving or the stopping the war in Ukraine? Is it possible in the future? And how you see it if we use a traditional diplomatic background of your country?
You know, Vienna is a very traditional place for international peace negotiations. Vienna has a lot of successful results, cases to bring together, for instance, presidents of the United States and Russia, and they really stopped the Cold War step by step. Why? Vienna has an international flair. We have everything here to enjoy life. We have our wonderful wine out in Grinzing. We have our wonderful sweeties like Sachertorte.
All conditions, yeah.
We have a big tradition, yes, of how to treat guests, and we used it. We used it in the past to get positive results. For instance, there's a legend that our former Chancellor Figl drank with Russian so much until all of them was lying under the table, and at least he got the contract that Austria, after 10 years, got freedom back as independent republic. So we have a lot. We have our charm, we have our wine, we have our food, and we have positive results. And also in this case, in this war, I think at least there would be a very good chance to come together in Vienna. All the conflict parties should communicate, and I think Vienna, as one of the main United Nations quarters, is the perfect place for Ukraine, for Russia, for the European Union, maybe also for the NATO, to sit together and to speak and to guarantee Ukraine the former borders to get back. It would be the best position now to save life of man, to stop the war and to get the occupied areas back on the way of negotiations.
You know that if analyze the possible places of some kind of negotiations, actually we had already after the beginning of the war, like Gerald told, Turkey, Istanbul, there was some negotiation there concerning the corn, concerning the grain, the export of the
grain.
The
grain.
Yes, that's why we have already some successful cases.
Yes.
And if you analyze, you will not find a lot of choice. So, Vienna and Austria, this is one of the countries which can at least be neutral to some extent with the negotiations. And do you really believe in such kind of negotiations and using the Vienna and Austria like a country who can help to find some ways for stopping the war?
You know, our Chancellor and also the leaders of the opposition parties want to support the freedom of Ukraine, no questions. But of course we also have one party which is not happy about the sanction which put down our life quality. I don't want to say the name of this party.
But this is a reflection of the society.
Yes. It means the big majority of Austrian population want to support, want to invite the conflict parties to have such peace negotiations in charming Vienna. And of course, there's a little shining of light. If you think, as you told already, it is possible, it have been possible to find this great deal to export the grain of Ukraine about your ports on the Black Sea to the world, which is so important. And I must say, it is really very great from Ukraine, even they are suffering a lot. Also to think about the need of the people in Africa and in Asia so that they can get their daily food. I want to say thanks for this, and I want to say thanks for the deal you found with the aggressor. Even you were able to make a deal with the aggressor. This makes your people, your policy very, very great.
Thank you, Gerhard, for such sincere.
You're welcome. You always are welcome in Vienna and in Austria.
Gerald, thank you for your vision of the current situation. I understand that you cannot say everything what you think like Gerhard, but at least you put the main guidelines of your idea. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay.